Hey everyone, welcome to LimitLess Radiocast, episode 75. Hanging out with the awesome Chris McKinney today. Chad and I talk about his past, his great competitive nature and attitude, things about life in general. It's a great and awesome show, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. We'd also like to thank all our friends who help and support Chad and I do this show each and every week. Magic City Brewing Company located in Akron, Ohio. Limitless Tape, M&H Beans, Gateway Dental Care, Hoist IV Level Hydration, Lashley Nutrition Supplements and Supplies, Thomas Webb from D. Hoff Realtors, Lanky Fight Gear, Red Tail Tattoo Company, Candry Law LLC, and last but not least, James Klingerman's BJJ Foundation. Check them out for amazing BJJ techniques, help, and instructionals. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. So Chad and I are hanging out with Chris McKinney today. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Steve Hall and Bryan Atterson. He is out of, I'm going to screw this name up because this is what I do, Arte Suave Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Okay, right on. Out of Beckly, West Virginia. So Chris, thanks for hanging out with us, man. And again, I apologize to every person that we have on because I do this all the time and screw it up. But anyway, thanks, brother. So how are you, man? How's jiu-jitsu treating you these days?
I mean, jiu-jitsu treats everyone good all the time, I think.
Right on.
Really how you kind of digest it. But I mean, things are really good. We just came off of a good showing out at States, being like one of the youngest academies in our state, and kind of just already being in the upper echelon, being able to compete with like such hard-nosed, tough teams, you know.
Sure.
I have a lot of respect for the jiu-jitsu scene here, and a lot of us get like looked over. So to be a part of like the legitimization, I guess, of jiu-jitsu of West Virginia, you know, and everybody's starting to refer to me as like an old head. You know?
How long you been training in jiu-jitsu, Chris?
13 years.
Nice.
And I was a wrestler too. So.
Oh yeah. So you have that. Yeah. Which I always ask guys on the show. I'm like, did you wrestle? Because obviously, you know this, like you can see it when you see someone that already wrestled like beforehand a little bit, and Chad's alluded to, it's like, hey, you can already tell they have a base. They kind of have that like, and I say ex wrestler, like, so it's been forever ago. I wrestled a little bit. But I still had that, like, I'm okay to get in right away and scrap. Like, it was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Like, this is normal. Like, I'm okay with that, you know, versus
like roughneck look or whatever, the grind.
Right. The grind. Like, you're just like, hey, punch in the eye, I got a black eye. It's like, it's okay. It's all good. No worries. Let's move on. As
you
Chad
start bleeding, like, oh, I'm sorry. And you're like, no, this is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Chad
lead with your face.
Yeah. Chad used to tell me that all the time. He's like, Terry, stop leading with your face. Like, I'd have marks on my face all the time. And I'm like, I kind of think, and I felt last night I was rolling and I was like, oh, I do use my head a lot, don't I? Like, I still do that even now. Like, I was using my head to like move an arm.
Yeah, like, head and face are two different things. You can use your head. Just be.
My right eye was hurting after I got home, and I go, oh, when I slid up, I literally slid my face like up all the way across the person's gi, and I was like, yep, that's probably why.
You burned yourself.
Yeah, burned myself, but that's okay.
We're talking about this nose job.
I don't think any of us are going to knock down the modeling career door. So
for sure.
Somebody knocking on the door like, hey, you with the cauliflower ear and the broken nose.
Yeah, we need you. You're up.
You're up. You're up for the Toxic Avenger next movie, the remake.
Right. You're going to be Captain White Trash.
Yeah.
So how's the gym going? I know competing and all that, but how's the gym going overall?
It's good, man. Our kids class is growing, and like we're starting to like get a lot more adults and LEOs interested, you know, and I mean, we're kind of known in the area as like the savages, you know, and I like to keep that, you know, like I like for us to be the savages. I like for us to be the ones that like work hard and set the example as far as that goes. You know, and I'm kind of hard-nosed as well. Like I tell these guys, man, if you're an LEO and you're training jiu-jitsu, like you should be able to roll hard. You should be rolling hard. You should be, going ham, because your life, roll like your life depends on it, because one day it probably could,
Sure.
Very well. Yeah.
So if this kid's able to like lock you down or tight waist you, so to speak, he's obviously accessing your utility belt right now, and that's where your goods are. So, protect that kind of deal.
Yeah, no, it's a great way. It's a great way to present it to LEOs, because we say it all the time. Like we have LEOs, we have a lot of LEOs and they roll hard, but some guys will be like, oh man, they roll hard and all the time. And it's like, yeah, but their life kind of depends on that. Like that's really their livelihood. Like, so I get it. It's like, I get it, man.
You get tired trying to arrest, this guy on PCP, he's gonna shank you.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. This guy.
And if you're coming in and drilling with a hobbyist, guess what, man? Like you're gonna be the victim. You're gonna be a statistic.
Yeah.
I'm
sure.
sorry, but at Arte Suave, we're not about that. We're coming home. Your ass is in trouble, not us.
Sure. Right.
Yeah. It's hard to get past that. I mean, we've all dealt with it enough, that ego that comes with the law enforcement, right? They don't want to get in there and scrap because they feel, you have a certain level of, what's the word I'm looking for, Terry?
Expectation.
Yeah, maybe expectation. Like you're this thing on the street, but when you get into the gym, that doesn't matter, right? You know what I mean?
You have,
the confidence. Maybe it's the confidence or the respect you think you have, right?
Like you walk around with that on, like a badge or whatever, and people like you emulate respect from others by having that on, which I get it, man. I respect every LEO that there is and anyone that wants to make a decision to do that. But at the same time, like they want that, like going in, it's hard for them to cut that off, because you walk into a gym and it's like,
you're going to have
I'm going to bring it to you too.
Yeah. And it's, if you're going to have a 150-pound dude, hold you down. Right, exactly. It's a hard thing to deal with especially when smaller guys are good, it can do that kind of stuff. Right.
It's hard to deal with when you're like just a regular person doing it. Imagine being in charge every day, all day, outside of there, and then going in there and some like 15-year-old kid that's wrestling. Like a grizzly bear. And you're like,
body locks you, climbs you, and then mounts you. And then you're like, wait a minute.
I'm going back out there.
Right.
Yeah. Somehow we have to, as a whole, and it's every gym, there's obviously not enough officers training anywhere. Right.
Sure.
So it's trying to figure out how do you change that, man? It's such an old system, And
at my academy, I offer like a free month for the first, and they pay $50.
Yeah.
Like a month. That's the top. Like if you're LEO or a first responder, even, I'm like 10, it's $50, and it's crazy to me, but I think a big part of it is the ego thing, especially.
Oh, it's huge, dude.
Especially here in the South, like it's, like I'm in the fattest state in this great nation, and like one of the worst cities. And I'm just trying to I'm trying to be a shiny mark on the underwear that's full of poo stains.
I've never heard. That's awesome. Chris, I'm stealing that. When someone says something to me, I'm gonna use that at work. I'm gonna get fired. I'm getting fired for sure, because I do this ever since
in a gym, man. It's because I say shit like that and get in trouble all the
time. That's awesome. Just like,
you're gonna believe me, but my mouth has got me in a lot of trouble.
It is funny. Like, I don't know how to put this to people, and you guys will understand this. So when I started jiu-jitsu, I started late. I was 41 years old, recently promoted to a blue belt. So I've been in about 2.5 years or so. And so like my mental verbiage type stuff has changed to more like that. Like more, not that I wasn't real before, but like I'm real, because like my family is real, which I consider the gym, the academy, my family. Not that I don't other people, but people at work is like, dude, you talk differently now. I'm like, it's kind of funny.
You say you don't like say things at the gym that like outside of the gym you're like,
right. Oh yeah, for sure. Turning your head, looking around, making sure.
Like, ha ha ha, and then you slap bump and go, or
Right.
you know,
Right.
I mean, it's a warrior mentality. You know, like to me at my gym, we're prepping for war. You know, like I'll die for these people.
Sure.
You know, I live for them, I'll die for them. And I mean, for me, man, like that's all I do. Like I want to be like the white Gracies. You know, like I want my son. You know, like I want to start this legacy. You know, and then my son and his son's son, and so on and so forth. Like. And to kind of, like I said, kind of start this here in this like little area of, you know what I mean? Like my town, the only thing pretty is getting out, you know,
Sure.
and people
Yeah.
the numbers of overdoses and just like really bad ways of going out, you know, and kind of tarnishes who they were before like the addiction or before the bad decisions. And it's just, you see it and, you know, like, it's sad to say that people get numb to it. And I don't want to be numb to it. You know, I want to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like you can't sit and bitch if you're not doing anything about it, because otherwise you're just bitching.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So I get sick of like seeing these things. And I mean, you can talk to my teammates, man. Like I'll be in the chat group sometimes going off like, what are you guys doing, man? Like step it up, like we'll get these numbers up, like we're the elite, we have to keep this going, like don't think because we did good at states that it's over. Like now you got a target on your back, you know what I mean? Now everyone knows we're good and they're coming after us, so we got to keep going and keep going.
For sure. Elevate yourself every day and everything that you do. And this is on mat, off mat, which I've alluded to. A lot of people like jiu-jitsu is something that people, if you don't experience it, it brings you closer to like real life stuff off the mat. Like it really gives clarity to off the mat stuff. On the mat stuff, I can joke and say it takes care of itself. And it does, but the stuff that you learn when you're on mat really translates really well to real life stuff in terms of elevating yourself and everything that you're doing all the time. Like for you, like just knowing, like, I know you're a father, you have your own gym, you're elevating your stuff, you want to build that legacy. Like that's huge, man. Like that's passing the torch. Like it's building something, you're evolving yourself and you're elevating yourself to be successful by doing the right things. And it all really is taking place from you being on the mat to start with.
Right. You learn to suffer and shine at the same time, man.
Right.
You like, I tell, like in the kids class, I have this metaphor as like, because you know how kids are when they're in mount and they just can't get out. And I'm like, listen, buddy, it's like life. If you lay there and you whine, it's going to suck the whole time. It's never going to get any better.
For sure.
Shut your mouth and you just get to work. Like, let it suffer a little bit. Let it suck. But you get to work, you're going to get the half guard. And then you get to work again. And that's the same way with life. Like you could sit there and complain about your life. But as soon as you just like kind of, well, shit, this sucks and I'm going to get going, it's going to get better. It has to, you know?
Yeah.
You have no choice.
Yeah. It's inevitable, especially if you have that mindset. And it's vital that we teach people this type of mindset. Like it's vital for people like us, like guys like us that talk about this stuff, that bring it to the forefront to say, I'll help you, man. I'll help you change your mindset, but I'm still going to be hard on you to get that mindset in the right place. You know what I mean?
Kiss your ass at all. That game. No, sir. Like a lot of people, and I get a lot of flack for that too, man. Like people will come to me and I'm like quiet. And then like, I'll kind of make like an umbrella statement that doesn't affect like any one person.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one person will come to me and be like, hey man, like why are you coming at me? And I'm like, I'm not coming at you, but since you came to me, this is
now I got an individual for you.
right. Now you came to me, so this is what it is. Like this is why you feel that was poking at you.
For sure.
This is why the preacher was stepping on your toes at this sermon.
Sure. And I would tell people out there, like, if they struggle with that, understand that you need someone like what Chris is talking about at your table. or you're always going to be just walking through fluff your entire life. And
right.
that's
and those people are actually on your side. The people who are kissing your ass don't give a fuck if you grow or not. They're letting you be comfortable. They're letting you be cool.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's not growth, man. That's complacency is death. If you're stuck, if I was still the same kid that I was back then, I would be dead, in jail, or just like the rest of all these other people.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
But I had somebody there. I had Brian there to be like, no, dude, like you're doing loser things. You're a loser. You're being an idiot. You're dumb. Like, no, that's not right. Like, no, you're not cool. Like, no,
sure.
That look, you know what I mean? Like, that's bad for the scene. That's bad look for you.
You had someone looking out for you, but in the right way, giving you like that, a challenger. That's what I call them at. Like, I always stated, it's like, hey, I have this person at my table, this person, I got someone that's going to challenge me and push me. That's what you are. That's what you do. And you have to.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna, I was going to say, as Chad would say, so being stagnant like that's like being in closed guard. It's death. Like you said, Chris, like it's death. And so everyone out there that trains in jiu-jitsu, I would say majority, if not all of you already do, because you're listening to this show. Just like closed guard, when you get in closed guard, you're like, crap. Like, you know, so it's death. So don't be stagnant, man, because you're probably going to die there if you keep yourself there. So what do we do when we're in closed guard? We got to work out of it, man. We got to be able to break the close and get all that. Yeah, for sure. So it's vital, you know, that that's such a great, you know, way to look at it. And like what you're saying, Chris, like those statements and stuff like that. It's very cool. How many guys did you have competing at state? Guys and girls, I should say. I don't want to, I'm not trying to single anyone out. Just my verbiage of going into it the way I said it.
I mean, we had like, I think like 15, 16 kids or something like that.
Nice.
I think it was like 13, 14 adults. My professor competed. I did the gi absolute division.
Nice.
And got, I mean, I got silver, but I got crushed by this. So, Wes Thomas, you guys probably know.
Oh, I know that name.
I know that name. Yeah. He's drop off the top rope.
Yeah, it was horrible. I realize now by the classes.
Yeah. You guys that don't know, I mean, what are you, 155, 160 pounds ish?
I weighed in this morning. I'm 150.2.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to enter an absolute bracket, that's tough, man.
I was going to say, like, everyone knows absolute, like Andre the Giant versus Chris McKinney.
Yeah. Still going to get in there and scrap, but
that's right.
Yeah, those people that told us size didn't matter when we started jiu-jitsu lied to us.
Yeah, and that's why all our backs are crippled up and we walk around with no shells.
Right.
Right. For sure. Speaking of the ADCC, Open and Absolute was pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah, Chris, I'm sure you caught a lot of it, right?
I sold out, man. I even bought Flow Grappling.
Man. You got to, right? I mean,
hey, I canceled it immediately after.
It would be kind of cool if you could pay.
You used to be able to you used to be able to buy Flow per month. They had like a per month thing.
Yeah.
It would be cool if they even offered ADCC like a package, like
or a pay-per-view
for that weekend, like the whole thing. Like, hey, it's going to be X amount of dollars, $30-$40, whatever, for the weekend, for one account or whatever. And it's like, that's kind of worth it. I mean, if you love jiu-jitsu, for sure. And there was, I mean, let's be honest, this is the first ADCC I've ever watched, and I was glued to it, and it was amazing. Stuff. And I was like, wow, this jiu-jitsu is pretty good. Like everything I seen, I was like, oh wow, that's cool.
Ryan is just a phenomenal animal.
Oh yeah, it's hard to I don't see anybody beating him, you know.
And the thing is what's so crazy is like I study this dude and his matches and his pressure, and I've been doing a lot of like that top pressure kind of thing that he does.
Yeah,
like underneath the head,
almost like an over under, like body lock. Yeah.
So like I've been doing that, and I've literally been like smother tapping people. I went and like I travel and stuff. Like our gym flooded, and I had to like travel and train, and like it's such an effective thing, you know. Like, and I was talking to like one of my friends about it at the gym last night, and kind of like as we started rolling, and they were like we started rolling, and they were like asking me like kind of like what I was doing or whatever, and they were like, "You feel so strong," and I was just like I was like, well, I've been like really nerding out on like Gordon Ryan and watching his stuff and what he does, and you know, so on and so forth. And it was insane the way that like how effective it is and how they can know that it's going to happen, and like it just
can't do anything about it. Can't stop it.
And to me, that's jiu-jitsu. That's technique, and that's something that like you didn't have whenever I started jiu-jitsu. Really, like, you know, like there was the Jeff Glover like deep half guard DVD.
Yeah,
and you could that old Marcelo, he had like a guillotine thing.
Yeah,
but you would have to like really look and get like a tape or a DVD, you know, like. But now you could literally you go on YouTube. You're like, oh.
Right now, you know, we all can find within seconds. We could all find 10 different things between all three of us. You know what I mean?
Like how to react to specific things that like you could have a bad day and be getting crushed by some kid and like getting your half guard just obliterated or your knee shield. You're like, well, how do I do this better?
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Did a friend bring you into BJJ, or was it like something you were always intrigued with because you wrestled?
Ooh, here we go.
Here we go.
This is already starting out good.
I was I sold drugs and was like in like the hood where like not a lot of white people hang out. And I was in my car in the back of like a church with like some of my friends. And it was like late at night and we were token down. And my instructor, Bryan Atterson, was DEA and stuff. Like so he pulled up on me. That's it. Shout out to Bryan Atterson.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, I mean, long story short, he was just like, man, you know, like, yeah, you're a grappler. I had like this wrestling shirt on, and he was like, you know, you're a grappler. Like, you should come to my gym, and I'll help you out with all this. And I mean, you know, young kids.
Sure.
I was like, man, no, I'm not doing that shit. So like a couple years go by, and I'm like in college, and I'm like basically flunking out of college because I started like a wrestling club. And all I wanted to do was like drink and party and wrestle. And like my parents came up and they're just like, just kind of like expecting me to be on drugs and it to be bad. And they like come up and I'm like, I'm not on drugs, but like my grades are bad. And, you know, obviously like it's a lost cause, me being in a fraternity and living on campus and stuff. Because for like a white trash kid, like college is like, I don't know, man. I had no idea what my plan was. I was just, I guess you go to college after you do these things. And this is like after I was in the service too. So I was
you were in the service? Cool. Oh, we're going to circle back on that. You keep telling them about college. We're going to circle back to that. All right, go on.
So anyways, I'm in college and they're like, they show up and it's just, I've just been training and hanging out with my fraternity like all the time. And I like told him about Bryan and that experience that I had with him. And I was like, I've been thinking about that ever since, you know, like, and like, if I could just train and like somehow make money or make that my life, like, that's what I want to do. And so I was like, so the guy brought me back. It was like my mom's boyfriend. He brought me back and he was like, listen, if you could show me that you're legit passionate about this, like, I'll support you. You got a roof over your head, you know? So I'm riding a bike, and if you know anything about West Virginia, there's no sidewalks. There's no like, and when you're riding beside the road, it's like you and a car. Like, there's no, like, there's like dead animals, you know, like the craziest shit you could think of beside the road. Like I was riding a training one time and ran over dentures.
It's not funny. Actually, it's really funny.
So I get the training or whatever, and like I'm doing this like for a long time, and then eventually like I'm sitting in the back, and Brian is like sitting over in the corner, and it's like we realized right then, like, oh my God, you're the guy, and he looks at me, and I like had long ass hair, and I like pull my hair back like this, and I was like, better late than never, right, man? And he was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, sorry, like it took me so long, but you know, I'm here now. And I never left, man. Like I was training 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. Like I quit work, quit college, quit it. Like everything I did was just around jiu-jitsu. Like if it interfered with jiu-jitsu, I didn't do it, or I wouldn't go. For like literally like 7, 8 years, I wouldn't go to like Christmas or anything. Like I'm just like,
man,
no joke. Like I'm like, I don't have
you were all in. Like you put it,
yeah. I mean, that's what I wanted to do. Like I didn't want to do anything else. You know, so then I started like just literally traveling, training, living in my car. You know, like, and if no one wanted to train, I would like drill in my room. Like it was just, I was obsessed. I guess I went from being addicted to like drugs to being addicted to jiu-jitsu.
Which is a good thing. I'm glad.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, like when you look at it, hindsight's 20/20, but you went through that, like you learned something, you know.
Well, I just fell in love with it, man. I was like, this is like unlike anything I've ever experienced. You know, like I've had like so many crazy experiences, and I never growing up, man, I never felt loved. Like I always was like, nobody loves me, and like I was always like suicidal, and I wanted to die, and just hated myself. And then like whenever I was grappling, like all of a sudden these people were like saying nice things to me, and you know, like they cared about me, and this team cared about me. And then people like started giving me clothes and t-shirts, and I was like, wow. In my young mind, I was like, this is love. Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm gonna be rich. I guess is, you know, and like I never got rich, by the way.
You kind of did, just not in a monetary way.
Right.
I'm rich. I got things money can't buy. I'm blessed.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of how I put when people ask me now, like why I would start so late. I grew up kind of rough. I had a lot of rough stuff happen to me, and things that I went through. And I say it all the time now. Like when I say, hey, I found like the family that I never had at jiu-jitsu, and like just feeling that, like having that feeling. And, you know, I have 3 kids. My wife is amazing. But just the guys and the gals that I have at the gym, all my teammates, and, you know, it's just like, yeah, like I've been looking for that for a long time. Like just like caring, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Camaraderie, like nothing else.
Yeah. It's probably the most unexpected thing about jiu-jitsu. I feel is
for
the
me,
people you meet. Yeah.
For me personally, it was, and which Chad, you've alluded to it. Like that's something that everyone kind of feels and goes through, like, especially people who stick with it and stay with it. Like, you know, it's a life journey, you know what I mean? It's not just like, hey, I'm here to do something. Like I kind of look at it like that too. Like I'm not here just to progress and get colors or ranks or whatever. I'm here to like, this is a journey, like a life journey. Like I just want to know as much knowledge as I can, and I want to make as many friends as I can. Like I want that love, and I want to give it. You know,
it's your life, man. Like everything in your life. Like all of a sudden, you're like, I want to eat better. You know, and then you're like, I want to exercise more. You catch yourself doing more. You would catch yourself like just living a better life, man. You know, like nobody's ever started jiu-jitsu and like got shittier.
Got worse, right?
If they did, they're not doing it anymore. Like they're you know,
they quit jiu-jitsu and they probably weren't at like the right academy. You know, they had some bullshito going on there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I was going to talk so Gordon had this post the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it. And, I wanted to get both your guys' perspective on this. He talked about after ADCC, he went into like some supermarkets, gas stations, whatever. And everyone like, hey, like they saw them, they knew him. Now, obviously he's in Texas. So jiu-jitsu is a little bit bigger in Texas. But he's helped that, obviously. Joe Rogan, all the people who have talked about on the regular high-end people. Do you think it's mainstream now, or do you think it will be mainstream?
I don't think it is yet, but
no, it's far from being mainstream.
Yeah.
I think within the next 10 years, it could be,
Yeah, it's good. You got to figure out, we've talked about the rule sets and which way do you go and gi. And I, unfortunately, I'm a gi guy. I like both, obviously, but I'd rather train in the gi. And they don't do a lot of gi matches anymore, right? I mean, for the big matches. So how do we get that in there? I think it's going to be tough to go totally mainstream. I guess what's your definition of mainstream? It'll never be football, right? I mean,
it'll never be, I don't think it'll ever reach even the peak of UFC either. I think
no, probably not.
I think I think it's always gonna be kind of something you have to seek, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sure. No, it does.
Yeah, like soccer is for Americans. I think it's something that you have to be into. Which I'm cool with that, man. I like that it's kind of like this secret cult. And then people find out about it and they're just like, I had no idea. You kill me. And I'm like, that's good though,
Yeah. Before we get it mainstream, I don't remember what guest it was, Terry. You might remember it, and said, you'll know jiu-jitsu has arrived when people don't think it's karate, right?
Oh, yes. I forget who did say that.
I don't remember who said that. Was when you can walk up to some mom putting groceries in her car and say, hey, what's that place where they do that self-defense stuff? And they say jiu-jitsu instead of karate. That's when you'll know it's a little more. No. And it's getting there because of guys like Joe Rogan, right? Back when I started martial arts in the 80s, because I'm old, you did it because you watched a Bruce Lee movie or Kung Fu Theater or something, right?
Sure.
Now I have guys, when they sign up, I'm like, hey, what brought you in? Oh, I hear Joe Rogan or Jocko talking about jiu-jitsu. So, the times are changing where it's getting out there and more, but there's still a lot of work to do, Yeah,
I was old school. That's the whole reason I got into MMA is because I was of that mind. I was like, I'm gonna prove jiu-jitsu is the best.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
How many times did you fight in a cage? 3-4 times, Chris?
Bunch. I was
a bunch.
Yeah. As an amateur, I was 8-2.
Oh, so you fought amateur too. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm 1-2 as a pro. But I'm 35, man, but I still feel young. I'm just now kind of coming into my my body and kind of becoming mentally strong enough to actually perform the way that I train, if that makes sense.
The way you can, yeah.
Right. There's a lot of times, man, going into those fights that I wouldn't have a camp. I wouldn't have, you know what I mean? And it was just, and like I said, I'm that old school mentality where you never pull out of a fight. But if you got a broken rib, you can't fight.
You can't fight.
Right.
But,
exactly.
So for the UVC, I've never said this to anybody ever, but I'll tell you guys this. I was fighting Darnell Pettis for the UVC. That used to be a thing back in Ohio. And I was fighting him. I jumped up a weight class or something to fight him, and I broke my ribs. And it was a week or something out from that. And I was still almost pissing myself when I would cough.
Dang,
Still went out there and fought Darnell, but I gassed so bad that I ended up getting TKO'd, and I couldn't, I had him in a triangle and I couldn't squeeze him, and I couldn't pull his head down because of my ribs.
Your ribs, yeah.
Yeah. But I've never said anything to anybody. I remember, George Gurgel came in the back and he's like, you should have pulled the head, man. And I was laying on a gurney, fucking dead, just got the shit beat out of me. And I was just like, man, no idea that I have a broke rib or.
Sure.
And I didn't get to warm up because I had to poop. my music started and my coach was like, hey,
we gotta go.
I'm like, are you serious right now? I was like, right now? He's like, they're playing your music right now. I'm like, this is a shitty situation.
Literally.
I can't believe this is happening to me.
That's awesome. And for George to come in and say it, like we've had George on the show before. He's
a trip.
He is a trip. He's a good dude, man. He's a good dude for sure.
You should have pulled the head. Dude, I was like, I don't even know my name right now.
Yeah.
I can't breathe. Like head, pull head. What you talking about? Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Go ahead, Chad.
Chris, Brian is under George, right? Is he a black belt under George? Yeah. I thought so.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very cool. Do you think jiu-jitsu would have, or let's say it this way. Now you look at jiu-jitsu from when you started, Chris, and would you have ever thought, like we were talking earlier, like punching in on the internet or finding anything you want? Like I always like to get someone like people's perspective. Like, did you see jiu-jitsu going? I know we talked about mainstream, but like, you know what I mean?
Even what it is now, an app where you can watch it 24/7.
Exactly.
Right. Like a thing, like flow grappling, you know, like like I said, man, I would have never even never in a million years. And that, like, honestly, like that's kind of what like drew me to jiu-jitsu, is the fact that it was kind of like this like best kept secret kind of deal,
underground, right?
Underground, yeah.
It's kind of like the thing that the radicals did, and it's like, yeah, you don't know that I do this, but you know, like you kind of, if you know, because you could tell, you know, like, you know, the symbols and stuff. It's kind of like being a vampire on Blade. Blade
they're marked,
marks on it,
yeah.
It's like, you're this vampire, you know, and
it's a guy like that. I like that analogy.
That is funny.
You're Brian.
It's actually funny because I had someone over a family get together holiday. They're like, so you just get tattoos and do jiu-jitsu now, huh? I was like, well, I had tattoos before I did jiu-jitsu. I have a lot more now that I'm doing jiu-jitsu, but I blame that on my coach, aka Chad.
Hey man, yeah. You do tattoos?
Me?
No, we don't do them.
Oh no, we don't do them. But
I started late. My first tattoo was 2 years ago. Right now, I have a sleeve, and I'm getting my hand tattooed tomorrow. But So I started getting some and found a really good guy, and Terry started, redoing some of his old ones. So we both hit that midlife crisis together.
Which it led to.
Let's go get tattooed together.
Yeah, we can.
Man, it's very hard not to do it now because I do love them. I mean, I love them, and tattooing has never bothered me. It's never been like, oh, it hurts so bad I can't do it, or this and that. I'm always, when people ask all the time, like, does it hurt? I'm like, my perspective is going to be different than anyone that tells you, look, they stick a needle in you.
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel great. Like you're not there for a tickling sensation. Okay. But it also doesn't bother me a single bit. Like, like.
Hey, I tell everybody it sucks.
Yeah.
There is some locations that are terrible.
Listen, my chest, game changer. I still haven't get it finished because it's so, like, I got this big boy.
Yeah, I remember when you took your shirt off when we were down at the Ohio Grappling for Dustin, and you did your thing. Or no, you didn't take your shirt off. Your gi was open, and I saw that big piece on your chest there. I remember that.
I'm telling you, I had to like bite a rag
when you were getting that done.
And it's kind of like being skinny sucks too.
Well, I was gonna say
it's all bone, right? Yeah, right on the sternum.
He tattooed my soul.
Right. Let's get it down in there, man. Jagging around, jiggling around. I mean, all your bones start shaking. You hit things that you never thought were going to be painful before. You're just like, what? This is a
cool sensation too. Like this is my newest one, and like he was like under here behind my ear.
How's that feel like that?
Well, I could tell you that it wasn't so much as like the hurt. But like, have you ever like heard like kind of like a needle puncture the skin, like thump?
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like that's what it was, and it's like behind my ear.
It's because you're I mean, you're right by your eardrum and everything, like that whole time.
Tattoo your eardrum. I was like, okay, oh, like, you're right. I could do that. Like, and it was. That's what it was. It was like thump, 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 thump.
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you said you were in the service, man. So what'd you do?
I was in the Army.
Nice.
I left 16 days after high school. I turned
Okay.
18 in training.
Oh, wow.
Well, thank you for your service, man. I appreciate that greatly. I think it's
Imagine
did you enjoy it?
From Virginia, and then turning 18 in basic training. My drill sergeants loved it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure you loved it too.
I mean, I do now. Like, that's the thing is like, I really am grateful for that experience. I think I was a little too young, you know, but
sure.
I was super grateful for it. It kind of like on top of wrestling and just kind of like having a shitty childhood and being broke and poor, you know, like it kind of taught me like that nobody's gonna save you kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get up and save your own ass, or you're gonna lay here and die. You know, like move. You know, like if you can move, you gotta move. Otherwise, you're gonna lay there and die.
Right.
I think I went in and I was like 119 pounds, and I left the army like 135. They made me eat like double rations. They would
batting his boy up.
Dude, they made me do so many push-ups, and I didn't deserve any of it. I promise. I didn't do anything wrong.
I have a cousin that went in the Army, and he was small, and I remember his first time he came home, he was jacked, just like, what, dude, like, what the heck? And he goes like, they fed me constantly. And he goes, and I got put on Rambo team. And I go, what's a Rambo team? And he goes, when you raise your hand and about something about doing push-ups, and then they were like, good, you're going to be the one handling push-ups for like everybody. And there was a group of guys, and they, and he goes, it was the worst. Like, we had no idea. We're just stupid. Like, who wants to be on Rambo team? And he's like, some of us raised our hand. And he was like, it was the dumbest decision ever.
Man.
You're doing push-ups for everyone.
For everyone. And it was like, I go, but you look great, dude. So
they made me what they call a platoon sergeant or whatever.
Sure.
Or a squad leader. So every time anybody got in trouble, I had to do push-ups.
Okay.
Man.
So, stop, pup. So then I had this one drill sergeant that was like, if I see you, no matter where I'm at, you have to like half right and from rest. And so like she would see me like, and
far
then I
out.
would like do formation, and my drill instructor just knew that I'm getting smoked from 200 yards away.
Man.
Life lesson. Got stronger. I mean, that's both mentally and physically. I mean, I tell people all the time, if you're going to go to the military, if you don't have a strong mind, you will. If you're going to do jiu-jitsu and you stick with it, you might not have a strong mind, but you will.
Yeah, you'll be where you need to be.
For sure. And it is kind of funny, like you alluded to earlier, Chris. So you're 35 years old, and you feel like you're starting to come into your own. I was thinking about this the other day. When you're young, I joke all the time. I'm like, yeah, I was just young and dumb. I say that now, but if I go back to that time, like Chad's like, man, what would you do to yourself if you went back to that person? I'd be like, hey, I beat the crap out of that guy, my own self. You know what I mean? Like,
don't know shit, kid.
Right. And you think you know so much, and it's like people tell you forever when they're older than you, like you don't know anything, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, wow, the majority of youth go through that, don't they?
Right.
It's just normal.
I feel like when you're young, you're just kind of following things that like seem cool or seem.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then like as you get older, you're just like, I don't even give a shit. Like I'm done trying to be cool. I want to be, I want to do what I want to do.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want to do. So I mean, I've always had tattoos, but I was 31 before. But I've always wanted my hands tattooed.
Mm-hmm.
I was 31, and I was literally like sitting in a pop-up camper at this metal music festival, and I was like, there's a tattoo place right over there, and I want my hands tattooed. And I literally was just like walked over there, and I was like, I want my fingers tattooed. And like I actually got my hands tattooed with a moto grader because they were like performing.
Oh, I know. Okay. Yeah. That's good.
And let's roll jiu-jitsu.
That's roll jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
Nice. That actually fits really nice on there. I always wonder, like I do try to think of jiu-jitsu things and go,
what would fit? What would look
what would
good?
fit on my fingers now that I have my hand? Because everyone gave me a hard time when I got my hand done because I have 2 sleeves and I got this hand done. And then, yeah, thank God my wife loves me.
I went back. I went hand up.
You went hand up.
Hand up. Yeah.
That's awesome. Shoot. Oh, you said your gym flooded? Is that recently or?
So like, I think it was like Sunday or Monday. We like go into training and you open the door and like a bunch of water. The neighbors had like a water leak or something. So we had to open the garage door, take all the mats out. They were like the rolly Dollarmer mats though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just took them out, dried them out, brought them back in.
Kimura. My dog's barking, everybody out there. Kimura, come.
You heard my dogs earlier.
Yes.
And
I was going to ask you what type of dog that was too. If everyone out there is listening on audio, Chris has his dog, and obviously I'm in my office and I have 3 dogs. So
this is T-Rex.
Oh, sweet. What kind of
gym dog?
What kind of dog is that?
He's a beside the road dog.
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
Well, he has ticking in him, Chad. That's why I was like,
yeah.
That's why I went to it. Like, I have 2 GSPs.
So I went like to this yard sale. Like me and my son just kind of like stopped, and this dog was covered in poop and fleas, with like 30 other dogs like in this little. And he wasn't barking or making any sounds. And I was like, he's either really chill or he's very sad.
Yeah.
So got him, and I was like, what are we gonna name him? And my son was eating like pizza rolls, and he tried to get my son's pizza rolls, and my son was like, named him T-Rex, and he's like,
I like
T-Rex. Tried to eat my pizza rolls. So literally, like, and we take him everywhere. So we like took it. We were at the hospital because he has like this speech class there, and we took him in, and they're like, "What's his name?" And the way he was like, T-Rex, because he tried to eat my pizza rolls. Like
that's awesome.
And I got a big dog. He's like 130 pounds. He's an Anatolian Shepherd.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I got a rabbit beagle.
Oh, nice. So you have 3 dogs too. Yeah. Dogs are the greatest, man.
Check this guy.
Oh,
he's chilling.
He's just chilling. I love it. That's great.
Dude, I'm telling you, we're primal out here. Like I kind of like, I live on the outskirts of Beckley, and it's like Glen Jean, and my house is like tucked back in the woods. I got big bushes hiding my house. We're primal, man. We don't wear shoes or shirts hardly ever. I put a shirt on just for this.
Just for this show. That's awesome.
Going to like my kitchen table and being professional, but I just set up like pillows on my bed.
No, I like that.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Wherever you're comfortable.
Yeah. That's what we want everyone to be like.
I talk with my hands so much. My little dog keeps attacking me.
That's a wrestle with you.
Like, stop, man.
It's kind of funny like that. I've actually picked that up, and I've recently just yesterday while I was at work, or Wednesday. Yeah. Yesterday. I do this more, like I use my hands more now too. And I think from jiu-jitsu, like, it's just like, I'll touch people or be like, and I was like, man, I never used to do that. Like, I used to be like, you stand way over there and I'll talk to you.
When you're talking to someone, you're like, put your hand on their shoulder. Like,
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know why now. I'm like, wow, I used to be completely opposite. I blame jiu-jitsu. It's all bad. No, just kidding. It's great. Go do it. Everybody.
Comfortable touching people. Like, oh.
Yes. One thing about jiu-jitsu, you definitely have to be comfortable about touching people and
absolutely
being close quarters and sweating on them and stuff like that, so
you better get over that quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So you got any competitions or anything for yourself that you're going to be doing?
Yeah. I'm in really good shape right now. I've been working real hard. I worked real hard for like a super fight that was at States. And so like then I kind of wanted to keep that momentum going. And they offered me a super fight at the Toro Cup October 22nd.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Nice.
That I've been kind of like starting to get after it again, start trying to, cause I mean, obviously I'm not out of shape, but I did kind of like take a little break to let my body heal and
Sure.
like kind of rest, because there's a lot of like built up animosity for that super fight.
For sure. Definitely. I mean, I'm you know the grind. Like, you know what you have to do, you know what it takes to be able to put yourself in that position. So it should be good, exciting, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to go back to kind of like shutting off and suffering day in and day out. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Living in the dark.
Up and you're not sore. You're like, I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah.
I work a little harder.
That's me every day. Like today, I got up this morning. I was like, oh gosh. I was like, apparently I thought I didn't roll hard last night, but my neck, I could barely move my head. But then I just had to get moving around.
I went to Nova Jiu-Jitsu in Lewisburg, West Virginia. They're like some of my friends. And I was like, because our tape hadn't come in yet, you know, and we couldn't train or whatever. So I went up there and I snapped my toe like Monday, literally like snapped it in half so loud that you heard it over the speaker.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it's my big toe. So it's like the good one.
The good one, yeah.
It's a stabilization toe.
Right. And so I was like, man, I gotta train, you know, and I was talking to the guy and I was like, I'm just gonna get a couple light rounds in. And you know how it is being a black belt at you know, visiting academy.
I was gonna say, yeah. Everyone's coming after you.
and like I'm known as being like a competitor and a hard ass and a cage fighter, so they're coming.
They're coming even more, huh?
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
Just put a smiley sticker on your toe, because that's pretty much what you're gonna probably do. Just look down and smile at it, smile back.
But yeah, and the thing is like when you're hurt like that, like you kind of like learn how to roll. Like you roll different. You start using different things, being a little more, you know, like being like, I don't know what the word, I'm like maybe cognitive of like what you're doing as opposed to just like free moving, you know, like I'm a wiry guy, you know, so like I'll just move with how I feel, and I don't mind to like roll or flip or invert but when you're hurt, all of a sudden it's like, can't do that. I can't, like if I push over this way and I get stacked on my head, I can't push with this toe. You know, like
that makes it, yeah.
You're a lot more aware of what your body can do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? So being young in jiu-jitsu, both of you, would you say the more you do it, you become more aware of your body?
Oh, absolutely. I think you have to. You don't have a choice, right?
They would, especially like after like a certain, like so many injuries and so many years, and when your fingers start looking like this,
all crooked. Yeah.
You come home and you're like,
that's how I felt this morning.
All right, what happened?
Yeah.
I always think of these type of things, and like, because I still consider myself very green in jiu-jitsu. So I always like, does it change, or do you get more aware of like where things are, or I know the muscle memory thing kicks in. So that's, you know, the obviously consistent of training and stuff like that. So that's why I ask these dumb questions, everybody out there who's listening to the show.
You definitely like become more aware, but like you're also aware of your own mortality too. Like as you get older, like you go from like to me, I remember being able to just train and grind and train and grind and train.
Sure.
And like now it's like I have to like kind of like cater to my body a little more. Like I can train and I can go in, but like I can't roll with this like big. Like last night, there was some guys that I had to be like, no, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna because you're a whole 100 pounds bigger than me. And
Right.
I just watched you people like it was the Mundials.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I've paid my dues. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Sure.
Being more aware of, being.
Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be afraid to tell people no if you don't want to roll. Right. You know, people have asked me, like, I knock on wood, haven't had a lot of injuries, you know, but I think that is knowing your body, knowing when to not roll too, you know? saying it's, and obviously I didn't do any MMA or stuff like that. I came from like a karate background and just always wanted to do just jiu-jitsu because I started later too. But yeah, you just got to be smart, try to be smart and roll with certain people.
Yeah. You're not going to like, if you don't want to roll with that person, like, because they're like big or sporadic, the odds are you're not going to get much from them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be paying attention to anything but just trying to get through that roll. Yeah,
you're gonna try your survival mode, and that's probably when you're gonna get hurt more, right?
Right, because you're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
But if you're with somebody who like you're like, okay, I want to roll with you. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying like every roll should be pleasurable.
No.
Every roll you should have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like there should be like. It shouldn't be like it shouldn't be like a white belt with like a 250-pound, black belt.
Yeah,
kind of
for sure, definitely.
Yeah. Quit, dog.
Chad just talked about that after class last night about there's going to be spots, and I don't want to reword it. Like you can talk about it, Chad, if you want to. Just about matching yourself up with different people, like when you're like ranked higher or whatever, like you can go against.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chad.
I've had a few people this week come to me and say, man, and you guys that trained a long time, we know about peaks and valleys, right? And there's going to be a lot more valleys probably than there are peaks. And you're going to go through those spots when you think you suck, right? And I'm just not getting any better. And I think there's multiple things, trying new techniques and thinking outside of the box. And we talked about, don't go into a role thinking, hey, that bigger brown belt is who I'm going to try to do this on, because that's not smart, right? Work up, try it on the white belts first, then try it on the blue belts and that kind of thing too. And then just who are you gauging yourself against? If you're a 52-year-old blue belt, don't compare yourself to the 22-year-old blue belt. That's not fair. That's not fair to yourself. Compare yourself to the 52-year-old dude that's sitting on the couch, not doing anything.
Right. I got a student just like that. He's, I hope you don't mind me calling him out, but ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
That's right.
He's like 70 some years old. And he's a brown belt.
Yeah.
And everybody in the academy is like younger, you know what I mean? By 30 years or so. And like sometimes he'll get down on himself, and he's had 3 surgeries this year.
Ooh, oh my goodness.
Man.
Right. And I'm like, Doc, man, like you're a graduate from Harvard. You know what I mean? Like don't sell yourself short, and don't be afraid to be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to go this round. You know what I mean? Because we do, like, we'll get in my academy, man, and we'll roll until, like, it's nasty. Like, we literally will roll until, like, you literally have to stop because there's so much sweat. There's so much, like, there's points.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody's going to get hurt, or some people start slipping and falling and getting hurt. And we're like, all right, guys, it's time to go. Like,
yeah. Clean up, wrap it up. Yep.
And that's what I tell him. I'm like, man, like you are an anomaly. Like you're a Harvard grad. You don't need money. You don't need anything. Like you've done it, and you're jumping in this game and humbling yourself, and now you're a brown belt.
Yeah.
Like don't sell yourself so short all the time. Like don't forget that you're doing an amazing thing just by being here, like walking in.
Yeah.
Most 70-year-olds are at home drinking Metamucil watching. I don't
exactly.
know. I don't know. I'm not 70, but I'll tell you
when you're right.
They're not at the jiu-jitsu gym.
They're not at the jiu-jitsu academy gym. Yeah, everything.
Been down there.
There's truth and validity to that. And also, like I just mentioned this to Chad the other day, when I say we're never going to be able to quit moving. Like I did a lot of stuff before this. I ran a lot, like before I started jiu-jitsu, and I worked out and did, that I kept myself very active. And I always told myself, if you stop, that's it. Like you're not going to be able to move. So I joke now and I'm like, we joked before, like I gotta get a walker, like there's gonna be some kind of special walkers to get me on the mat, like something, because I can't quit. Like I'll freeze up. It's bad enough now if I don't train for even a few days, let alone my temperament goes down the old tubes, as my wife will say. She's like, you haven't trained for a minute. Or, like I want to freeze up and seize up. Like I feel like if I stop, then I'll die. Like I'll just be like, just shrivel up, crippled.
Yeah. Just shrivel up and die.
And it's right. Like you pick and choose your rounds and rolls. And if you have to sit out, sit out. I say, like the younger guys, like keep rolling, man. Like don't take any time off. Or not from injury wise, but like if you're at the gym, like get row after row after row after row. And if you're older and you're capable of doing it, do it. But you don't have to, man. Like you've come a long way. You're older in life. You've done a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like
listen to your body. Like
yeah.
Just like Chad and I were saying, man, you got to be aware. You got to listen to your body.
Yeah.
If you walk out there and you're constantly just getting injured and you're trying to go over and you get injured again and injured again, that's self-detriment. Like you've got to. And I'm the worst. I need to listen to my own stuff. Like I got a broken toe and got a seminar this weekend with the great Steve Hall.
Nice.
Like it's just. I mean. That's the game.
I told you, man, just put a smiley sticker on it. You'll be okay.
Like it's suffer now or suffer with regret.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got some of that limitless tape. Just put some of that on there. It'll hold it together.
Hey, there you go. Wrap that bad boy up.
Limitless tape. I need to get another box.
All right, cool. We'll get you some.
All right, we'll get you some for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to try. What's that?
Me an invoice after this.
Okay.
Sure. I got you.
Cool. Yeah. So today today's my birthday. I'm 47 years old today. Thank you, man. So tonight, me and one of my fellow black belt, Pete Schock, always try to do some type of fitness goal for our birthdays associated with how old we are. Right. So he's a fitness guru freak. So he did like
kind of a freak of nature at 45 years old.
Yeah. He did 45 Turkish get-ups with a 45-pound kettlebell on each side for his birthday. That was his thing, right? So my thing tonight is I want to do 47 1-minute rounds in a row is my goal for tonight.
Did you get enough people? Did we get enough people?
I don't need that many. I'll just circle.
Just keep going around. Yeah.
Whoever's there.
You doing gi? No gi. What are you doing?
Gi.
You doing gi? Okay.
Like that at my academy. Like, so for your birthday, you come in and you roll for however old you are.
For that many minutes or?
Yeah. For that many minutes, and you get like a new person every 2 minutes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Nice.
Maul. Like we
yeah. I love the idea when
it's a mental fortitude thing, like you're not supposed to win. You're not going to win. There's literally 30 people and they're fresh and you're
exhausted.
Yeah. So it's mental fortitude. It's like a road march in the military. Cause like I remember asking my drill sergeant, like, this is so fucking pointless. Like, why are we out here just marching down the road like for ridiculous miles and days, like stinking and sweating? And he literally like looked at me and was like, right here. He said, shut up. And I got, like immediately, like he pointed his head and said, shut up right here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Quit bitching.
Yeah. Just
march. And that's what that is. Like, it's just like, because you're never going to suffer like that in life. Like,
no.
Like, and you have to like put yourself in that. Like, if you're hungry for that growth, that's where you're going to get it, and knowing that you could quit, knowing that you
don't have
quit.
To do it.
You don't have to. And I tell them that all the time. Like, I'll have my students like mounted and I'll be like, I call it the gas chamber where you pull your gi over their head. And I'm just like smothering them and like, I'll like whisper. I'm like, all you got to do is quit, give up, just quit. And they know that in their mind, like me saying that is like, you better not quit.
You better not.
You better not quit. Right.
Like, but as they get to like where they want to quit, as soon as I'm like you could see them become reinvigorated when I'm like, just quit. They're like, no. You know what I mean? Like, and that's something that grows in you with jiu-jitsu. Like, I'm not gonna lay here and just die anymore. I'm gonna shrimp. I'm gonna get out.
Which, again, like when those students walk away and they have adversity hit them in real life, they can look and they can go deep down inside and be like, you know what? I know what adversity feels like. I know pain. I know what it's like. So I ain't quitting. Like, I'm just going to keep going harder and harder, whether it's a job, school, an argument, whatever. I don't mean like an argument as in being stupid, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's lividity to that. Like, you're teaching it the right way in terms of like, it gives back to life. You're building people up to be successful outside of just being good at jiu-jitsu.
Right. It's more than just out there on that mat. Like, I have people all the time coming to me and just like, dude, you know, this has saved my life. And it saved my life. Like, it has literally saved my life, like over and over. Actually, Chad was kind of like one of the people I was talking to about this one time. I was just like, man, like, sometimes it's hard to be a leader and hard to be strong, you know, and be there for everybody all the time whenever you're kind of like feeling like you need saved. And Chad's like, you don't have to be strong all the time. And like, so like in that moment, I'm like, holy shit. I went into my students, man, and I just laid it out on the line. You know, it was like, I was just completely transparent. I was like, man, I'm struggling. You know, I'm having a hard time. So if I miss a beat, you know, I apologize. You know, I love you guys. You save my life every day. And I tell them that. I've told them that since the day I've opened my gym. Before we bow, every day, I'm like, you guys, I love you, and you save my life every single day. And it's a God's honest truth, because like it goes my son and jiu-jitsu. Like that's life for me. There's no plan B. Like, for like, what am I gonna do? Go be a doctor? Like what? Like if I didn't do jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna be getting like, it's gonna be a shitty life for me.
Yeah.
So much. I wouldn't be able to afford to live how I live now.
For sure.
Yeah. And you opening up, Chris, like that and telling them that, now they know they can open up to you. Maybe they're suffering from something, or, you know, don't want to, like, you know, I think all three of us have had some anxiety things. And, you know, I used to not tell people. I hid it. Like, I was in relationships where I hid it. Nobody knew. My kids didn't know. But as soon as I was okay talking about it, it made me feel better, you know, like and that's what prompted that video that I posted. It's okay not to be okay. That was because of Chris and a conversation we had. Like, you know, he's like, I got to pretend that I'm okay in front of my students. And it's what he said. No, you don't. You don't have to pretend. We don't want, you know.
Yeah, we don't want you to pretend. And pretending just builds it up, man. It just puts more stuff on your shoulders that you already don't want there. It's already puts more stuff inside your mind that doesn't belong there. You know what I mean? Like, you belong here, and all that other stuff doesn't belong there.
Absolutely, man.
When you get in those moments, you know what I mean? Like, I go off and like, I struggle with like, I'm very passionate about like every emotion I have. So like, when I'm sad, it's sad. When I'm happy, I'm happy. When I'm mad, I'm so passionate, and I have such a big heart. And like, when I get in these times like this, man, I come home and it's dark for me, and it's almost like my mind convinces me shit that's not real, if that makes sense.
It does, for sure.
Like, my mind, like your mind starts kind of like talking bad to you, talking bad about you, you know, things like that. Like, and it's just like, nobody loves you, no one cares. You can't do this, you can't do that. And Sean North told me this. Like, I took like a little vacation and showed like my son like where I like used to train and stuff when I lived in Ohio. And I was talking to Sean North, and he was like, yeah, man, he was like, you were so talented and you would get so close. He was like, but it's almost like you wouldn't let yourself win because you didn't think that you deserved to be there. He was like, and you still, you know what I mean? And now I'm trying to get over that now, you know what I mean? At 35, I'm still like, I'm at the end of my career, of any career, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting UFC money fighting, you know, the UFC ain't going to call me at 35 and be like, you know what I mean? Mr. 1 and 2 black belt, you want to come, you know, butt scoot in the UFC? That's not going to happen, you know, but I do want to fight again. I do still have that drive, and it's because I've earned that, you know, and I'm tired of telling myself that I don't deserve that. you know, if that makes sense.
No, it makes 100% sense. Like, I mean, I would tell you as a friend and, you know, fellow jiu-jitsu practitioner, like, you know, the world itself is going to project whatever it wants to project on you. And it's easier said than done, but understand that you belong. Like, Chris, you belong here, man. You belong doing what you're doing. And look at the amount of people that you've changed in that amount of time that you've been doing it. Like, you're a black belt. You're going to go be a doctor now? No, because you're a black belt. You've already done doctor status. You've already put your time in. You've already done that.
But
like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. And it's that, you know, we've all helped people. Chris, you've helped people, but look what you've done for yourself. That's where it starts. Like, you know, you said, you know, we've talked about dark times and things you've come back from. So man, that's huge, dude.
You didn't quit. You didn't quit. You may have wanted to at times and you struggled through that. We all do. Everyone that's listening to this show right now has had some kind of adversity struggle in their life, whether they want to admit it or not. But you fought through it the entire time, and you're sitting right here talking to us in September on a podcast about jiu-jitsu, man. So that's huge. That's a huge thing. Like, you have a son and you're still teaching people. You have students. So you're teaching me right now. I'm like I said, I'm young in my jiu-jitsu career. So it's like my journey, whatever. I befriend as many people as I can on this show. So
hey man, we're friends now. And listen, man, like the thing that does touch me the most is like the whole time that I felt like that I couldn't talk about it, and like it was eating at me. Like, if I would have just said something, I could, and still to this day, I still need to listen. If I would just say something, rather than like letting it build up and come out as like this anger outburst, or like build up and come out as like, you know, the whole 2017 event, like, just if I would have just said something, you know, but like, you gotta talk, you gotta say something, you gotta hold that shit in. And like Patty Pimlet said, you know, like I'd rather you have tears on my shoulder than me being carrying you at a funeral.
For sure. And it's up to guys like us that have gone through stuff to continuously talk about it openly, freely, to break the stigma, because it's a stigma. It's just stigma of going, ooh, I can't talk about that. Like, oh, I can't say nothing.
I'm not a man. I don't want to be a pussy. I don't want to, you know, like, I'm a black belt. I can't be weak. I can't feel that. You know what I mean? Like, and
you're a black belt. You're not allowed to have any emotion.
Why aren't you like Bruce Lee? Be like Waldo, my friend.
Right.
That's not it.
No, Bruce would tell you himself. He'd be like, listen.
Right.
That's awesome. Very good.
No, we're all just these crazy animals with these crazy emotions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, you are. In order you get, the more you learn to navigate them. And obviously we're getting better at, you know, talking about it. Being able to tell people like, look, I'm always like, hey man, you all right? Like, just because like, I know you probably aren't going to say anything, but I'm still make sure like we kind of read you a little bit. I
started this new thing of just kind of like telling people I love them. You know what I mean? Like, love you, man. And I don't have to love you like my brother, or love you. You know what I mean? Like,
you got love for them. Yeah.
You know I love you guys. Y'all brought me out here on this thing, and you guys have a platform that, you know, for jiu-jitsu, for mental illness, for people, you know, like you're giving the people a voice. And
absolutely.
Yeah. And that's important. That's what we wanted to do, for sure. And that's what we want to continuously do. Like, we want people to we want everybody to know, like, hey, train jiu-jitsu, A, and B, it's okay not to be okay. And we're here for you, man. If you need to talk or do anything, you know, like, reach out, email, whatever you got to do. Like, listen, we're here to listen to people. We want you to get your story out. We want people to, you know, tell us how jiu-jitsu changed their life and how you're changing other people's life. Like you just did, Chris. Like, the show was great, man. It was great information, and we've got you for more than an hour. Let's do this. Tell us how anyone and everyone can find you, man, on social media, any platform you want. Shout out the gym, how people can get to you, everything, man.
All right. Well, we're in Beckly, West Virginia at 1320 East Eisenhower Drive. The gym's called Arte Suave Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Go follow my Facebook, Chris McKinney MMA, Arte Suave Jiu-Jitsu Academy's got a Facebook page. Go to my regular Facebook page. My Instagram, blackbeltirishgypsy. I've been doing this my whole life. They're doing like a little documentary thing, but there's kind of been a halt on that for like financial reasons, I guess.
Okay.
But I think that's more about like mental illness and jiu-jitsu too.
Okay.
But hopefully things will get going on that. But I mean, thank you guys mostly though. I really appreciate you guys like bringing me on here. You know, it's
anytime, my friend, anytime that we can. It's awesome. Good. I can't wait to, maybe get to see you again down the road at tournament or something.
Yeah. We'll get you come up and train sometime with us.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's go get tattoos.
Go get tattoos together.
We did get our tattoo guy to start training jiu-jitsu. He does come. He just started, a couple months ago, and he loves it. So
yeah, let's go get inked up.
Good. All right, my friend. Very good.
Toro Cup. Watch. I'll be on there. I'm gonna put on a show.
Cool.
That's right, and that's October 22nd.
Yep.
Right. Is there a pay-per-view?
Or is there a way to watch it?
Is there any way to watch it or anything?
It's gonna be live on the Toro Cup.
Oh, yes. They do have a site that, so what I'll do, and for everyone out there, everyone that listens to the show regularly, they know I always put links to everything out there and everything that you said. So that way there'll be a link on there for that, for your fight on the 22nd. So if people want to get out there and get at it, they'll have the availability to at least listen to the show, check you out and click on it, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Excited. I'm
all
working
right, my
hard.
man. Very good. Awesome. We'll keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate you greatly. God bless you, your son, and everything that you're doing, man. Take care, and we'll catch up down the road. All right, my man?
God bless you guys. I love you.
Thanks,
Love you
brother.
too, man. Appreciate it. Later.